Hello, my name is Anna and I run a garden called the Hvaler Visitor Garden. It's a land sprout center, so I will be a land in some time, I guess. Just have to fill out the paper. This is where I live, and my garden is down here, so we'll take a look. This is my private area around the house. It's a much forest that we have kept, and we love it because of the birds. And now we are tidying up a little bit because it's growing that much, so we have to control it a little bit. But this is a place where the sour plants thrive, and we try to grow according to what the nature needs. So we have our seating place here. It's our small outdoor restaurant for ourselves when we have some nice weather to relax, and I have a little greenhouse there. It's our daily luxury to be in our what do you call it? A little bit of orangerie. There's a little pond with some flowers, and here I have a very nice plant called the Moses burning bush. It's because of the oil that can start a fire if it's very hot. So this is a pretty new project. I had some woofers from Germany working here for 2 summers, and we found all we could get of old material. So we built these raised beds because here it's not that windy and it's very hot when the sun is coming. So I have a lot of tomatoes here, and last year I started to make my own canned tomatoes, and that's really a success. So I can't get enough tomatoes because I love it so much. Use it in very many dishes. And then I have a nice grape here that I make juice from. The landscape is very it's much small mountains and small places all over, and it's ideal for growing because the microclimate is so nice. So when we stand here, it's easy to look and have a nice overview over my garden. So you see that you can hardly see it, but it's a fence locking in my garden, and that's because of the deers. It's a lot of deers here that want to eat all of my crop, so I have to protect it. So let's go down and have a look. So here I have also made some raised beds with leftover materials, and I made them like compost beds, and they are quite deep down. So the berries, the strawberries here, they are very protected because the wind don't get to it. So I have just here we have some nice.
Very beautiful.
Yes, it's for you.
Thank you.
So it tastes very nice, and I have planted them as a ground cover for fruit trees. So, and here is also protection from the deer.
Yep.
Yeah. And inside it's made like a sort of keyhole garden principle, but just watch out for this one. So in a while I will plant more fruit trees here, because now I have a pear tree and a plum tree, and to get the most out of the space I have this salvia and the strawberries as ground covers. So I will have some more, 1 tree there and here and there as well. At that spot you see I have just filling up compost, and I will plant a new fruit tree there.
Yeah.
We call it happy rose, lykkefund, like you find happiness. It's flowering so very much at the same time. You see, it's a lot of roses blossoms coming pretty soon. Yeah. And we can. I have some very nice cabbage beds. I call them cabbage beds because I grow cabbage here, and I grow things that need protection from the insects. So this is a kind of material that allows the rain to get through, and it's easy to take it away and take away the weeds and look for the plants. So here we have some small rosenkål, eller broccoli, yes. And here I have some other cabbages, and there's a very big salvia plant, and they have some space left over, so I will pretty soon make seed some autumn carrots there. It's because the carrots are also very, very easily attacked by insects. So I just do like this, and if I don't want to use this protection at all, I can just take it away or just lift it up. So it's a very nice construction.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Clever design.
Yeah, it's like I always think in permaculture, how easy can I do my projects? How easy can I have a nice maintenance of my garden? So every time I do some things, I think, can I do it easier? Yeah. And when I continue thinking that way, I finally get some nice ways to make the garden work, even if I don't have that much people to help me. So here I always use the border in the garden for growing. So here this year I have some potatoes. I love potatoes. We have it for dinner very often. And this is my kitchen garden. So it's with 8 sections, and so I grow different things in each sections every year, so I can move it around. So, and here is also potatoes, and there I have asparagus, and outside I have these small half circles where I put tomatoes. The reason that I made these half circles around this square kitchen garden is because when I was standing up on the mountain and I was looking down at my new made kitchen garden, it was a square, and I don't like square things. I like them to be organic forms. Yeah, so that's why I made it like a sunseeker, like a flower.
Yeah. Like the petals
yeah,
of the
yeah.
flower.
So here you can, this is because of my chickens and hens. That's why I have a fence inside the bigger fence. So here is a very special kind of potato. That's are like delicatessen potatoes. And I have some different kinds of onions and ear onions that I love very much. And these are I guess you know this very well, a cucumber flower that's good for the bees. And here I have some garlic, the Alexandra garlic from Russia. It's very hardy and it's a very nice taste. And here I have cabbage called red Russian cabbage. It's a very nice cabbage, and this is from last year. So now I just let some plants grow for making seeds for the next season. And here I have my favorite herb. It's apple. Oh, I love the smell of this apple mint. Do you have apple mint at your place? Oh, you have to smell it. It's very nice to put in I think I'll when we'll have lunch afterwards, I'll make some tea for us. So I pick some of it now. It's very nice for making tea, and when I cut it, it just comes more and more.
It's very soft.
And very soft, and it's also very nice for making flower bouquets. I make a lot of flower bouquets. Hi, Solgull. It's called Solgull Sun Gold. It's because when he was little, he was all yellow, and the most beautiful duck you can imagine. Well, and I can tell you a little about this. It's pastinac from last year. So I let some of them grow for the seed saving this autumn. I also held courses in my garden and teach people how to pick seeds from their garden and how they can select the best seeds so they can be self-sufficient with a lot of seeds.
So you're also probably part of Kvan?
Yes, of course, yes, and I know Andrew Macmillan very well. He's a very nice friend of mine. Here we have a Chicago onion. It's a very nice annual onion coming every year. So I used the stems, or the leaves, I mean. And all around there is a lot of this here. Yes, I use it as a ground cover, and also put it in my salad when I make salads. So here I have a whole bunch of this garlic. So I have self-sufficient with my own garlic. And this is the red spinach. Got seeds from Andrew Macmillan from Kvan. And there I have a seed maker for skorsonnerot. This one. And here and I have some purre. I don't know the English word of it. Yeah, it's kind of in the onion family. It's growing very nice in soups. And
Parsley.
no, yeah, it's the parsley root. Yeah. And here I have these farmer beans, if you call it that.
The fava.
Yeah, fava. And potatoes in between because they love each other. And here I also have some this is also.
You actually have different colors of both.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have white,
Yeah.
violet there.
And this is also one of my favorite herbs. It's bronze fennikel, and it makes very nice flowers also for the bees, but it tastes like licorice. So we can pick a little bit and put it in our tea later on this today. I'll select some while we go around. Have you tasted it?
We can, no, we
Tastes
never
like
actually
candy.
tried licorice.
Yeah, tastes like candy. And here's an old field of strawberries. So this is the last year with strawberries here. So I will just pick the berries now, and then I will just dig them up, all of them. And here where I have some even more garlic, but there in between I have some corn. But they are growing quite slowly because it was a very warm May, but June has been pretty cold. So I hope for more warmer weather now. So here is also a lot of onion that I have been putting in the soil just for some time ago, and some parsley, and a lot of this mountain spinach, this red one. It's also nice to eat. When I made this kitchen garden, I didn't have this geodome in the center. I just had flowers. But this is the first geodome I made. So it was just standing there and it was not in use. So I put it in here, got the help from my son, and we had this insect cover on top of it. So it's a nice microclimate here. So I can grow things much earlier here. ska vi se, tomatillo. And I have a grape here, and also a lot of cabbage and citron melissa. It's also nice for the tea. We'll pick even more here, so we make a teapot with all kinds of tea herbs. So it's I should have been weeding here. I have some help today. Yesterday and today I have a girl coming here for helping me. So maybe we'll
A local volunteer.
yeah, yes, a local volunteer. Yes. So that was a quick tour around my kitchen garden. You see this even here is a fruit tree. It was originally there. You see that dead tree there, and it has been growing into my kitchen garden. And to avoid the shadow, I have just taken the branches away from the bottom and let it grow in the top. So it gives us cherries. So here I grow even more tomatoes, and I will put something in for ground cover here when I have the time for it. So here alongside this border I have some, do you call it raspberries? Raspberries, yes. And here is even more cabbage seeds. You see they're all over the place. And here I have, my husband is the carpenter in the garden, so he has made this place for the beans to grow. But they are kind of slow this year, but they are coming up now, so hopefully there will be a lot of beans to harvest and to pick.
Pergola.
Yeah, like a pergola. So see, you have this nice, very dark salad. It's called infrarouge. It's also seeds from Kvam. So I get a lot from Andrew. And also outdoor chilies. You see those.
Yeah, they're already there.
Yeah, yeah. So you see they are already growing. So I think it's because of the climate is so nice here. But here the snails have been eating the leaves. And this cucumber plant with the blue and white.
The borage.
Yeah, the borage is spreading around. But I just, if it's too much, I just take it up like this and I just put it back on the ground again as a ground cover. And here is another bean climbing thing. And I love beans. It's nice to have in the wintertime.
Yeah, like the potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. And here is the Linné tagetes. It's a very old sort of tagetes that I like very much. It's so pretty and so delicate. And here I have put in some more potatoes. So I have very many sorts of potatoes.
You have violet. You have the violet color.
Yeah, yes I have. It's a very old plum tree. And you see here is an interesting helper, because this stem here, you see this branch here, it's so old. So it was almost broken this winter because we had so much snow. And on that stem it's another plum that's put on this branch here. So we have different sorts of plums in this tree. So to save this kind of Victoria plums, we made a crib for the stem here, and we worked very hard to get it up again. I was very afraid that it would die, but it has come alive again. And this is so old, like an old friend, with this moss and this nice patina and bark. It's like, yeah, it's so nice. And the nature is so wonderful, because even if it's a very old tree, it gives us shadow, and it still gives us plums, and it gives us something pretty to look at. And when I have guests in my garden, they love to sit under the plum trees. Oh, here is my hens. And one he is quite noisy, can be. And I have some small dwarf cochin. These berries bushes, they get really big. So last year I picked 30 kilos of berries from these 2 bushes. Because they are having the fertilizer from the duck and the
chickens.
And the chickens, yes.
Both.
Yeah, so this is the black berries. They are called aronia. And this little house is also very important because in older times in this community they didn't have water. They had to fix their own water. So there's an old well in there. So if we have very dry periods in the summer, I can water the kitchen garden and the rest of the garden from with my own well here. So you see, we have put a pump here, so we can pump up the water from the well, and also use this for tools. So try to have many, and each like the permaculture principle that every element should support 3.
A minimum of 3 functions.
3 functions, yes.
Stacking elements.
Yeah. So another function with this house is that it's a natural place to have my own working space alongside the wall here. So it's a nice place to be outside and make new plants. And here is also taking care of the rainwater. So my husband have made some, it looks like 3 barrels, but it's really some ugly industrial barrels that we have covered up with some nice wood.
Yeah, that looks better.
Yes. And here we have a nice place to sit, and I have put an old boat that was going to be thrown away and made a wall of the bottom of this boat. Yeah. And this is apple trees. I have made them myself with what you call it when you make apple trees from a stem and you put on the branches.
Oh, you mean grafting?
Yeah, I guess so. So we had a lot of apples last year, but this year I don't think we will have that much. So hen house, and they are laying on their eggs now, making chickens. So they're inside there and have a very nice colored. Yeah, I had some pink. And this is my grandchildren yeah, and some old crafts and paintings from my grandchildren. I have to have some humor. Yeah, and this is a combined keyhole garden with Hvaler bed. So I've made the keyhole bed design, but in the bottom I put a lot of timber because we had to take away some of the big trees over there. And then we put some compost and soil on top of these logs, and it's growing really good. You see, it's like so. It's said that the Hvaler culture gives you nourishment for at least 20 years, and it keeps also a very good damp soil. It don't dry out that fast. But I also have a water system here with drip irrigation, so I can get the water from the well over there. So I have a lot of different. This is like the old artists, you know, they drank a lot of absinthe, and it tastes like hell. it's so bitter, so it's. But I just keep it because it's fun and to take care of the different. Yeah. And I do want to make my own snaps one day with different herbs and maybe a little of this absinthe, not much. And here's also a lot of tomatoes and mint is also spreading around here. And here's a small black beans. I love small black beans, so that I dry out every autumn and put them in, store them in glasses. So I can have black beans in my salads. And you see everywhere I have protection so that the hens can go freely around in the garden without destroying anything. So I plant comfrey all over the place because it gives a lot of minerals to the plants and that the apple trees loves it, and I cut it a lot and just put it on the ground as ground cover.
It's a dynamic accumulator.
Yeah. So here I have my outdoor kitchen. It's also made from scrapping things I found in the garbage center. And I have some herbs around here. Well, this is not herb because it's poison, but but it's a nice plant. Yes. And it's very nice to be outside and make the food if we are a lot of people in the garden. And out here I've made quite a new food forest department. So here I have more comfrey and raspberries and castagna. I don't know the English word of it. Castagna. Castagna sativa. Yeah. And that's a bush with very nice flowers that you can use for lemonade. And here I have Gjestehage. It's a mixed breed with two kind of berries. And here I have very nice flowers. It's an old herb. They use the roots for different sicknesses, and it's called stockrose. It's coming up some stems with small flowers on, and the bees are very fond of them, and it's very nice to touch because it's like velvet, nice in flower. Here we have Prunus persica. Just 2 fruits this year, but it was planted last year, so. And here is a rose bush, and here we have a climb kiwi. And here is it's Japanese silver bush, and tomatoes and sugar peas and things like that into the fence. And here we have moreller, yellow berries. Moreller, I don't know the English word of it. Here I have a new planted field of raspberries, and I've had some flower seeds put in here, and I planted in some herbs, so it will cover up pretty soon. And here is also comfrey and tomatoes and pepper root and squash plant. Here you can see how I just cut down the comfrey like this, and I just put it on the ground, and it has already been it's already melting down into the soil, giving it nourishing. So comfrey is all over the place.
Lovely pond.
Yes, this pond is a part of a draining system for the garden, because this garden is quite wet. Whenever it rains, all the water comes from the other side of the road, under the road there and just pouring out in a little river I have made there. So it connect. And the river is connected to this pond. So
you made the connection.
Yeah, I had a gardener coming here and helped me with that. Mm. This is mjødurt, also like a beer plant they used for making beer earlier days. But these flowers taste like vanilla, so you can dry them and use them in tea and for baking. Very nice. We can take some now and have in our teapot. So this is the main entrance to my garden if somebody wants to visit my garden and buy some plants or just look around. So you can see my sign here. It's put it. It's like this. So it tells the visitors that we have. You can get inspiration and you can buy herbs and plants. And I have a garden. So this part is quite like a food forest. It's growing quite wild. But there's a lot of herbs in the bottom. These two are laying here because I want to plant them here. But I haven't had the time yet. So here's really a lot of plants. And it's pear trees and a big lipstick. And back there a little tree with kirsebær. There's some tree made from seeds from Praha I was bringing back home. And here is oregano. And yeah, a lot, just all flowers and herbs all together. And here we have this beer plant you was tasting. The same plant there. And this is also a kind of mint that has another flavor. And here I have some onions that are pretty onions for the bees. And citronmelisse. Oh, so much noise. So here we have for exhibition just the smallest geodome that we make. So if people don't have don't have room for a bigger one, they can buy a little one. It don't take that much space, but you can grow a lot of things in there. And it's apple trees and tinnved. This one, I'm not sure the name of it. It's like with orange small berries. Very pretty leaves. Blackberries that I put in the pots and sell when they are finished. So this is 3 acacia trees and raspberries and walnut tree. But it's not that big yet, so I hope for walnuts in some years. So it's quite exotic with a walnut tree.
Yeah.
But I have to take away some of these, I guess, because they're taking too much light. But I have this growing. It should be growing on top here, but I have to help it a little bit on the road. So it's for making beer, called yeah. Mm. Here I have an exhibition of the herbs that I sell. Some of them I make myself and some of them I buy from local greenhouses. I try to make some money so that I can earn that much that I can get my expenses covered. So this is my very funny shop where I sell different things. I sell this for taking the weeds away. Made in Sweden, lying very good in your hands. And plants and small decoration things, and yeah, things that I like myself. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, and the cards are made by a neighbor here. She's an artist. Mm. And the glass things is a friend of mine who's a glass blower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see it there.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very beautiful.
Very nice. That I have made in cooperation with a lady who have her own clothes design. She sells her clothes in the shop nearby, and this is from linen. And when it's worn out, you can just put it in the compost.
Yeah.
And outside the geodomes is the plants that I sell. So it's a mixture of herbs and some summer flowers and some bushes. My biggest geodome is a place I use when I held courses, or once in a while some people rent it for having a little party, and I make food and serve them food from the garden. So it's a nice room to be inside, and I also grow tomatoes here, of course, and some flowers to make the room organic and a nice place to be. And I also have this lamp that I have invented myself with flowers on, so I can have some light in the evenings. This is an old rake. They made before they had plastic, you know, things were so nice, so they used this on the fields to rake the hay. It's a map. Just take one.
And I saw here a sign that
Yeah.
you got some
I got the
awards.
garden culture prize 2022 for Norway from the Norwegian Garden Society. So that was very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very proud. Yeah, this geodome is used for growing plants and making plants. So I have a selection of my chilies. And here I'm a working station. I make plants and repotting or sowing or whatever is needed, and I make my own labels for the plants that I sell. So I have them here, so I have an overview, and there's some small advices on how to grow the plant. So here I have a lot of chilies. So I have already some chili plants with nice chilies on. I love chilies because they are so nice plants, and I use a lot of chilies when I make chili marmalade and chili sauces. And I use chili almost in every dish I have. And here is a very funny cucumber. It's a Mexican cucumber with small cucumbers climbing a lot. So I have one here. So we're starting to climb. And these boxes here are made from fish boxes that I can have for free down at the harbor. So I just put 2 fish boxes on top of each other and make plant boxes. And this is also very convenient because I need a lot of space here for the small plants in the spring. So I draw this up, and I had my husband, my garden carpenter, to make them for me. And it goes like you see over here. So I can put a tray on top, and I can put a tray here and one here in the spring when I don't have anything in the bottom. So I have 3 layers of plants. So it gets the room for much plants. Yeah. Mm. My permaculture project is making a food forest on the hill behind us. Yeah. So this area is very warm and quite wet because it was like a jungle here before I started up. So I have been taking away some of the most invasive plants, like kaprifol and bjørnebær, beer berries that are climbers with a lot of sticks to it, so it has to be taken away. And here I have this small river that all the water goes down to. And now it's growing a lot of this plant here, and it's quite seldom plant. It's Ranunculus lingua. It's not that common. So there was a botanic guy here, and was very happy about seeing that I have this one. Yeah.
But you planted it here, or it came by
It just came by itself. I guess when the environment is perfect, it just pops up. Yeah, it's very like a miracle. So here I have a girl who works for me today. She has been putting newspapers, because there was a lot of weed here. So she's put wet newspapers around the plants and cover them with the ferns, because I have too much ferns, so then we can use it for ground cover. I have these fish boxes with newspaper outside my house, standing out in the rain. So when I need wet newspaper, I just grab a box and use a lot of newspapers for ground covering. And here I have put on a svartord, a black or tree. It can be very high. I planted here because it takes a lot of, it needs a lot of wet environment, and at the same time it will give shadow for the geodome there. So it has grown a lot in just 2 years. And all these blackberries here, they are popping up because the birds are shitting the seeds. So I haven't planted them there. So this whole area on the mountain here is my PDC project, with making a food forest on the mountain. And keeping a lot of the plants that already are here, but taking away the most invasive one. So here we have this nice that the bees love in the spring, so I just cut it so we can pass through. And here I have rhubarb, and there was a lot of this here grows a bit too much. So by putting the wet newspaper around the rhubarb and some ferns on top, we don't have to weed. So it's easy. So here I have a prunus. It's not growing that much, and I don't know why, because I have really cared for it. Given it a lot of soil, and it's nearby this tree that the bees love a lot. But here I put a plum tree, Mirabelle plum, small plums. Yes, last year. It's already growing a lot. It's very nice plums. There is also a black plum. So I use the ditches between the ferns, and I put in a lot of soil in the ditches, and then I plant. And then we have this microclimate that are protecting the fruit trees. Was my thinking when I was doing it, and it seemed to work. And you see that here, my helper, she has cut a lot of fern here. I have been covering some of the ferns with newspaper as well, but it just pops up all over. So then we have enough to just use as, we have whatever we need to use as ground cover. Here I have a plant, but it don't thrive. It's called, it's an American papaya. You see the little one there. It's very little, and it hasn't grown anything. It's just very small, and it don't seem to like it here. So maybe I should dig it up and plant it somewhere else. And somewhere here I have a nut tree, but well, we'll have to go down and we'll go up and see if we can find the little nut tree that I planted last year. Here I have grass onion, and here is originally bushes we call slåpe. It's a kind of berry that grows by the sea alongside the coastline in Norway. And here I have a place with salvia and hosta, and here is a tree. It's called it's like I can't remember. Morbær.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But it hasn't given any fruit yet.
It's
But
a young one.
yes, it's a young one. And here I have American blueberries.
Blueberry,
Yeah. So you see it's quite wet here. But when we weed, we just put the weed back on top of the ground. And even here, and this garlic is all over because it's spreading when it's planted among the ferns, and it really loves this place. You see all the flowers, so I get these mini kiwis in the autumn. I have a plan to lead it to the tree there, so it can climb in that tree. Was my plan. And there is a little castagna standing there. So here is my nut tree, and it seems okay. I planted it last year. See here. But I have to take away some, give it more light.
That's what? Hazel?
Hazel,
Hazel.
yeah. And up here, if you go up here, I have some nice apple trees. And some, here is a wild apple from seed. And here is a very nice, very old apple sort called, yeah, I don't remember. But here you also see that I have comfrey beside the apple tree. And here's another apple tree called summer red. And here there was just this dump in the mountain, so I have filled it up with soil and compost. So it's a very little castagna tree. It was it dried almost to death last year, but now it's coming again. So it has made some nice roots. There's also there's a friend of mine who bought this castagna to eat, and she put them in the soil and got some small trees. So I had 2 from her. But here I have this edel castagna. So even here I have been filling up some soil. It's called Bensaklon edel castagna from very known food forest place that make plants that I have bought. Every tree we cut and the branches we just filled up here, and I had some soil on the top, and then I planted this castagna, this chestnut here. And last year I also had potatoes around it. This year I fill up a lot of compost here, so I will make the heap even bigger, so it gets more to the chestnut, and I want to plant to put more potatoes here next year, so I can use the space even better around here. My mother and father-in-law they were living in the house up there. They were growing a lot of fruits here, and they had mink and pig and hens, and they were self-sufficient with everything almost. So I have inherited this place then. So this is my heaven on earth. and I appreciate that I have inherited it, and I am thinking about my mother-in-law a lot. And she was very happy that I got this interest. I got it from her, really.